I think the thing we have to talk about right away is affordability. I'm reading the Washington Post right now. They say 55% of homes in Q4 2020 were more expensive than they have been in the past, relatively, according to that metric. Is affordability going to become an issue here?
Well, those houses are largely more expensive because, as you just mentioned, we've had rock bottom low mortgage rates. I mean, a 2.65% 30-year fixed rate mortgage just a week or so ago will drive a ton of house buying power. And you don't buy the home necessarily based simply on the actual value of it, but how much it costs you per month. And when those mortgage rates are so low, that cost per month is also lower. So that demand dynamic is affordability is driven by the monthly payment, and that's as cheap as it's ever been in terms of the mortgage rate at 2.65% recently.
So how much is this market being juiced by the at least belief that we're going to get back to full employment at some point and we're going to have a recovery sometime in 2021?
Right. I think it's interesting. The 10-year Treasury yield, which the mortgage is benchmarked often to, is now rising above 1%. I could have sworn it was a year ago where we were shocked that it had gone below 1%. So this sort of idea of a high 10-year yield at well below 2 still drives very, very low mortgage rates. So even though mortgage rates will likely rise a little bit, they will still, by any historic standard, remain very low. So the purchase side of the market will be less affected by that. There will be a lot of impact on the refinance market, which is much, much more sensitive to rising rates. So we would expect to see a lot fewer refinance transactions as rates rise.
So we're getting some conflicting news about the virus. The virus has obviously been a catalyst for a lot of people to move out of urban areas, buy new houses, even buy furnishings and things that have just really spurred the housing market and also some of the other supplementary businesses. With the idea that a vaccine is going to be widely spread at some point in 2021, I think we mostly believe that. How does that impact the housing market?
Well, I think, home has been the penultimate stay-at-home stock because while Netflix and all these other things were very popular and during pandemic, having a home to watch them in is also pretty important. And that dynamic of demand will still be there. Clearly, though, a healthy economy driven by the vaccine rollout and not having to worry about a pandemic anymore, that benefits everybody, including the housing market. Sentiment is lower now around purchasing homes and selling homes, not because of something really in the housing market, but because if you're a seller, would you really want to open your home up for sale right now? And if you're a buyer, you're really struggling with the idea of finding something to buy because none of those sellers are making their homes available for sale. So you can't buy what's not for sale, and people don't want to list homes for sale because of the pandemic right now.
So right now we're showing a chart of new home sales, and we saw like a big spike in July and June. Is there another big spike coming in the springtime? We often have talked about the spring home buying season. Are we going to see that again in 2021?
I think so. Demand for new homes and building of homes is very strong. And that's not just a pandemic situation. That's a 10-year deficit now of not building enough, which is one of the other reasons why we have such a tight supply. So lots and lots of demand for home sales. And while the labor market report last week showed a decline in the construction side, we actually hired more. So there's a lot of demand for new homes, and I expect that to continue next year or this year.
When we talk about demand for new homes, are we talking single family homes in the suburb or just people looking just for more space just in case this variant or we see more lockdowns? Which one is it?
Oh, clearly single family, lower mid-priced sort of first time home buyer homes in the suburbs are the most popular. And that's, again, not just pandemic related. That's the fact that millennials are now aging into that first time home buyer phase of life. And they were already sort of making that shift to the suburbs because the lifestyle choices that are made along with owning a home make the suburbs more popular. That said, any housing is good at the moment, given the shortage of overall stock supply that we have today in the United States.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.